Hello Year 5, it's Mr. Shaw here and happy Friday to all of you. Today our Can I is, can I write the opening paragraph to my story? And the date today is Friday the 17th of April 2020. For this lesson you will need a pencil, a ruler, paper and access to the internet so that you can watch the clip. I'd like you to start off please by writing the date and the can I at the top of your piece of paper and underlining these. Now is the time to pause the video, do this, and once you are finished, click play on the video. Over the course of the next few days, we'll be writing the story from the boy's point of view. Can you remember what the first section of our story mountain was? The first section was the beginning or opening. In the beginning or opening of a story, we need to be thinking about including an interesting story opener to really grab and hook the reader's attention. We will also need to introduce our main character and describe the setting. Today, we'll be writing our opening paragraph for the animation Marshmallows. If we are writing from the boy's point of view, what must we consider? If we are writing from the boy's point of view, our stories will need to be written in the first person. So why do we write in the first person? It allows the reader to get inside the character's head and watch the story unfold through their eyes. How to write in first person. If writing a story in the first person, write as though you are the character inside the story. To do this, you'll need to use pronouns such as I, me, we, and mine. For example, last year I went to Spain with my family. I loved it. So a warm-up task for you now. Below there is a passage which will need changing from the third to the first person by changing the pronouns. I'd like you to pause the video and have a go at changing the pronouns from third to first person. The pronouns are in red that will need changing. Pause the video and complete this task, and when you're finished, click play so we can go through it together. In this paragraph, we'll need to put ourselves in the character's shoes, in this case, Sarah. Mr. Craver looked at Sarah and said, "Who's picking you up from school?" Sarah will need to be changed to me. Mr. Craver looked at me and said, "Who's picking you up from school?" "I'm not sure," Sarah replied nervously. Here, we'll need to include the pronoun I. "I'm not sure," I replied nervously. She was worried that her mum would be late and that she would have to stay behind with him. Again, we will need to change she here to I. I was worried that her mum would become that my mum would be late and that I would have to stay behind with him. But if my mum is late, she said I can just walk home instead. Sarah tried not to look into Mr. Craver's eyes in case he could tell that she was lying. Again, remembering that I'm putting myself in Sarah's shoes here. Again, I'll be using the pronoun I. I tried not to look into Mr. Craver's eyes in case he could tell that I was lying. "I think it would be best if you stay here with me," Mr. Craver replied. Sarah knew that he was mentally preparing a list of work for her to do. Again, I'm going to be using the pronoun I. I knew that he was mentally preparing a list of work for me to do. She had to get out of school, but how? She needed a plan and fast. I had to get out of school. But how? I needed a plan, and fast. We have now changed the passage from the third to the first person. Great job if you got that correct. Now it's time to begin writing your opening paragraph for the animation Marshmallows. To help you, remember to look back at your story mountain and the first couple of slides from this video. Use your success criteria to include your examples. Your opening paragraph should consist of an interesting story opener. It should be where you're introducing your main character. You should really go into detail about describing the setting, and you should be writing in first person. Below, I've given you an example to support you with this task. The night brought such a silence that the crackle of the campfire was all that could be heard. I added more wood to the fire and poked it with long sticks, which helped keep the fire alive. Within seconds, the fire burned brightly. The glowing embers twirled and danced in the moonlight. Quickly, I hurried to get my knapsack from inside the tent and grabbed the delicious sweet marshmallows I had packed to toast them over the fire. In this paragraph, I have used an interesting story opener. The night brought such a silence that the crackle of the campfire was all that could be heard. I added more wood to the fire and poked it with long sticks, which helped keep the fire alive. Here I'm highlighting one of the things from my success criteria. Can you remember which one I have highlighted? I've highlighted a relative clause. Within seconds, the fire burned brightly. Again, I've used a time adverbial here. Within seconds, the fire burned brightly. The glowing embers twirled and danced in the moonlight. Quickly, again, another example of a time adverbial, I hurried to get my knapsack from inside the tent and grabbed the delicious sweet marshmallows I'd packed to toast them over the fire. Delicious sweet marshmallows is an example of an expanded noun phrase. I have my two adjectives, which I've carefully chosen to describe the noun, the marshmallows in this case. I also have inside the tent. This is a prepositional phrase telling me where I grabbed my knapsack from. Hopefully this example is enough to get you started, and I really look forward to seeing the opening paragraph that you've been able to put together. Remember to go into great detail to describe the setting and catch the mood and atmosphere from the clip to really hook the reader. Don't forget to take a picture of your work and upload this to Class Dojo under your portfolio. I can then see how you've got on and give you some feedback. Thank you again, Year 5. Have a great weekend. Bye for now.